Constitutional Crusader, thank you so much for coming out here, introducing me to your audience. We're here to let the people know that they have a lot of power if they only know how to stand on it. And pretty much everything in my life has been a lie. And one of the things that they lie to us about is that cannabis is harmful and that it has to be regulated. And the fact of the matter is, statutes, acts, rules, codes, regulations, ordinances do not apply to you. That's for government. With regards to cannabis, I have visual, measurable, repeatable, pictured proof of efficacy in oral health that you can find on my website, oralhealthwithcannabis.com. On the home page, you'll see pictures. Here's a picture of a fella who went to the dentist, chewed a plaque disclosing tablet, and the dentist took pictures. You can see these very clearly on the website. 30 days later, same process, almost no plaque on the teeth. Plaque is harmful. Plaque causes cavities. Cavities lead to root canals. Every root canal tooth is a toxic tooth. Prior to recent events, was a leading cause of heart attacks. According to Dr. Thomas Levy, you can listen to Dr. Thomas Levy on the homepage of my website, where he gives a 1-hour talk at an international oral health conference. He'll explain to you that every root canal tooth is a toxic tooth, the cause of the majority of breast cancers, and can be a cause of virtually any inflammatory disease. So if we can prevent plaques on your teeth with cannabis formulations, both either euphoric or non-euphoric, either daytime, nighttime, or anytime formulations, why wouldn't we do that? 15 million root canals in America on average every year. How many people in prison right now for a marijuana offense, for something that is essential for human health, for man health, for mammals? This is for man and mammals. This is for your cat, your dog, your livestock, your horse.
Pet tiger.
Pet tiger, that's right. Man and mammal. Thank you, Matt. So, I was operating a provisioning center here in Kalkaska, Michigan. The little village of Kalkaska. I was outside of the village limits. I had the blessings of the Kalkaska County prosecutor, Mike Perot. I was leasing a building in Leetsville. My landlord had a meeting with Mike Perot to get his blessings because he'd actually shut the shop down once while I was leasing it because of a raid. However,
a raid that happened somewhere
a raid that happened, close by here, and was very devastating. So after being shut down for several months, I got a call from a fellow by the name of Jamie Lowell. Many of you in Michigan will recognize that name as a man very involved in cannabis, in activist, and the whole 9 yards. One day Jamie called. He said, "Ethan, do you think you can get your shop back open?" I said, "I don't know. Why?" He said, "Well, they have legislation proposed that will grandfather in existing shops." That's when I went back and talked with my landlord. That's when he went and talked with the Kalkaska County prosecutor, and I opened a shop back up. Well, I had been dealing with very bad oral health. My gums were bleeding, my teeth were loose. I had suffered with plaque, heavy plaque for years. A dental pick was part of my daily routine. And this fella comes in as a farmer, wanting to supply flour to my shop. That's how I met him. Short time later, he comes in, he says, "Ethan, I talked with my dentist. We'll put your claims to the test." Thus these pictures. I have these pictures in my hand for about a matter of weeks. It's December 2015, and here they come and raid my shop and then raid my home, where the Kalkaska County Sheriff's Department and Sergeant King of the state police conspired to ignore a court-ordered command, and they left almost everything that they were supposed to take, and they did a smash and grab where they took cash, they took guns, they took a car, they took a truck, they took a 30-foot enclosed triple axle trailer, they took other private property, they froze my bank accounts and left virtually everything they were supposed to take, including my processing equipment that makes this oil that we use in the cannabis formulations. All of my custom-made equipment that was laden with oil. And at that point in time in Michigan, concentrates were not officially recognized in medical marijuana. It wasn't until after I was done with court that Rick Schneider made a executive, whatever the heck he did, and made concentrates part of medical marijuana. What went on from the time of that raid to this day is nothing short of gang stalking by the highest levels of government to the lowest levels of government, gang stalking from the bar, the British accredited registry, British agents, big tech with their shadow banning, the attacks I've had on my website and my service. And more. I get lost in it. So I'm being a little bit passionate here. I'm letting it rip. I'm gonna exercise my lung for a minute and refocus. Matt's giving me a nice smile here, so that's real encouraging. So what you see here is a United States patent. A United States patent that has 32 claims in it. 32 claims approved. This is an extremely hard-won patent, and I'm gonna come back to this. So they raided me December 2015. The prosecuting attorney says there's going to be no charges. Mike Perot, prosecuting attorney, Kalkaska County, says there's going to be no charges. I tell my attorney, I said, I want to get out of here. He says, I think it's a good idea. There's no charges. You're not on the run. I said, Washington State's offering a marijuana research license, the only state offering a marijuana research license. He said, I think it's a good idea. So I go. I pull into a little town. I can't even remember the name of it. I went to a city hall or a town hall meeting, and there was a man there from the Pacific Coast Economic Development. Before I know it, he's got me in touch with a congressman and a senator. I'm in contact with Ethan Russo, a very well-recognized cannabis scientist. Turns out Ethan Russo is nothing but a shill. We'll call that out now for what it is. But at that time, I didn't know it. But I'm in touch with a cannabis scientist, a very well-recognized scientist, and I have been in touch with the Washington State Licensing Authority with these pictures. And while I was there, I went and bought a computer and a printer. And in my little room, I put this whole package together here, which is all for nothing. Because we fast forward another month to February 2016. Remember, I get these early December 2015. I get raided December 2015. Sorry. I get raided December 2015. It made me lose my train of thought. It's now January 2016. I'm out there. We go to February 2016. My defense attorney, who was no defense attorney, calls me. I'm in Washington State and says, Ethan, I just got off the phone with the prosecutor. There's going to be no charges. You want to come back to Michigan? It's safe for you. I explained to him what I was doing out there, thanked him, and that was it. Within a matter of weeks, they revoked the marijuana research license availability, like the soup Nazi. No research license for you. And the was either the senator or the congressman emailed me and said they've moved me into another department. I can do nothing to help you. So what do? I come back to Michigan. May 2016. That lying prosecutor sends the state police out here. You know, the ones that didn't follow the court command, that conspired to leave everything with me. Why? Because they wanted to come back and raid me again and make me habitual, is what my guess is. They come out here and charge me. I'll read this off to you. Criminal enterprise racketeering, controlled substance delivery, marijuana, manufacturing marijuana. And again, substance delivery, manufacturing marijuana. Felony firearms, maintaining a drug house. In my age, that's life. Why are they doing this? They're doing this because they want to deny you optimal oral health. They want you going to the dentist. They want you sick. They want you going to the doctor. Remember, root canal teeth, 15 million of them every year in this country. The leading cause of heart attack and breast cancer. Third leading cause of death in this country is medical errors. What happened to cancer and strokes? I'm telling you, folks. And the dentist that did that evaluation wanted to do clinical trials. When they came and put those charges on me, that dentist went into hiding, is still in hiding. I have 3 dentists. None of them will say a word about it, except if you talk about this in the office again, you're banned for life. We are surrounded by cowards, people who will continue to do the wrong thing time and time again. And we need to come together. We need to stand together. And I'm so thankful to Matt here, Constitutional Crusader, for offering his platform so I can share this message, because it's been very suppressed and people fear me. They don't fear me because I'm not a guy you should fear. They fear government reprisal. So, for instance, I got to a point after being done with court where I was sitting down trying to put dates and timelines together in an open letter that I was putting out to the military, to all our executives, and so I contact my patent attorney because I want an email. That what I want is I want the time of this email, the time period, not necessarily the content. Well, what I get from my patent attorney was alarming, because this is phone transcripts here. This is what the attorney sent me, phone transcripts. And he didn't send me the email, because obviously when we get to that email, you'll understand why. So number seems to be big with these parasites. On Tuesday, 9/11/2018, here's the message. Examiner Miller called to discuss Dean application. He said he sent Reams an email. I don't see anything in my email. That's in brackets. He would not discuss what he needed to discuss with Reams with me. He would not send me the email he sent to Reams. Reams was the patent attorney. Miller, the examiner, would like Reams to call him when he returns to the office. This is what I got. I wanted that email just for the timelines. But you can see the examiner calls and won't talk with the head assistants about what he wants. Keep in mind, May 2016, there's going to be no charges, Ethan. It's safe to come back to Michigan, Ethan. No marijuana research license for you, Ethan. I come back to Michigan. I get arrested with all those charges that same month. The National Institute of Health ignored my evidence, ignored the pictures, ignored my intellectual property pending, and invested $1,800 million or $1.8 billion to rejuvenate gum tissue. But they did it under the false title of revolutionizing the root canal because they didn't want to get my attention. But they had my attention because, as I explained, a root canal tooth is a dead tooth, and they are deadly. They are toxic. So they had my attention. In the spring of 2019, the results of that study, that $1.8 billion study, were released. It was the first or second paragraph said failed to regenerate, not rejuvenate, failed to regenerate gum tissue. That has been scrubbed from the internet. They've also scrubbed the $1.8 billion funding. And what is there now, what you find, the only thing you can find is a $1.8 million funding to revolutionize the root canal. But read into it, it's a 5-year study. What they've done is, see, I'm having an impact. So they're rewriting history. They're deleting the internet. They're fabricating. So anybody goes to look for that $1.8 billion, you're not going to find it. You're going to have to go into the Wayback Machine and you'll find it. It's there because that's exactly how it happened. So what was this email? I got an email here from Michael Meller, United States Patent and Trademark Office, to my former patent attorney. Let's cancel all claims. And then he goes on with this here. What he's offering is a poison. I didn't know it at the time. He's want me to cancel all my claims and offer me a poison. Oh, they'll patent my poison. They'll give me a patent on a poison and would have no commercial value. So you see, the United States government is working against you. They're denying you this and better. We rejuvenate lost gum tissue. When I discovered rejuvenating lost gum tissue, Colgate was advertising with the line, if you have lost gum tissue, it's gone forever and it's not coming back. Why did they advertise with that? Because it was written in the United States National Library of Medicine that if you have lost gum tissue, it's gone forever, it's not coming back. Yet, how many people are in prison? How many people are in court? How many people are in jail? How many people's lives are destroyed? How many root canals today? When does this insanity end? When is what I want to know. And finally, we've got a man here that's given me a platform where I can get this out. I have a YouTube channel, Citizen Science Oral Health Project. There you can find over 280 videos where I have documented what I have been through. I have put these parasites in court of law, a high court of law. What you know is a circuit court, a district court, a federal court. They're not courts. It's a corporation name. Just like your driver's license, just like your passport, just like your birth certificate, it's an all caps name. They created a fiction, a corporation without your consent, without your knowledge, without your approval, and they have enslaved every one of us for generations. You've got this American Bar Association. Private member associations operate outside of government control. Nobody has a license to practice law. They have a bar card. These British parasitic treasonous rats have infiltrated virtually every aspect of our society. And they're destroying you. In the late 1800s, you watched one of my videos, Own Your Authority 6. And I talk about the bar being formed in the late 1800s. And in the description of that video, there's a link to an 8th grade test from the late 1800s, 1870s, I believe. Take that 8th grade test and see how you do. There was a time in history where people would say, I only had an 8th grade education. They're smarter. They're better educated than most of us today. And that's obvious if you read that. And when the American Bar Association was formed, one of their primary objectives was setting the academic standards. Look at what they've done to our public schools. You don't have civics class.
Nope.
You don't learn this stuff. You don't learn that your rights are unalienable, they're unalienable. They do not come from the Constitution. Your rights were once constitutionally protected. And I'm going to read one to you. This is Georgia. Right to the courts. This is out of the Georgia Constitution. Paragraph 12. No person shall be deprived the right to prosecute or defend, either in person or by an attorney, that person's own cause in any of the courts of the state. Can you have a right in Georgia that I don't have in Michigan or somebody else doesn't have in any of the other states? No, it's common law across the common land. So what's all this talk about constitutional carry states? Oh, this state's a constitutional state. Oh, that state's a constitutional state. You slaves! It's common law across the common land. You cannot have a right in one place that you do not have in another. One man cannot have a right here that you don't have there. But you can give up your rights. You can be a slave. And this is exactly what they've done to us. They've brainwashed us. They've toxified us. They've dumbed us down. They're poisoning us. They're enslaving us. Nobody should be in any of these courts. That's human trafficking. Every one of those cases, every one of these policy officers, every one of these sheriff's departments, every one of these federal agencies, they are human trafficking. They are trespassing upon your rights. They're destroying you. And you have to stand up and own your authority and stop it. You have the right to the court, a court of law. They've taken away the bar, and the Democrats and the rhinos have taken away all of your protections, and they attack you from every angle. I created this document here. This is a notice of liability. This is my original, so it's Michigan. But I created the Americans' notice of liability because people would ask me, can you make one for Florida? Can you make one for Texas? Eventually, I said, I gotta be able to do this. I came up with a generic because it's common law across the common land. So I took one of the strongest constitutional provisions and I worded the, now this is a court of record document. This is a court of record, high law, high court. You create it, you own it. Comes now Athens, one of the people. Now this says, as seen in the Michigan Bill of Rights, Article 1, Section 1, Michigan Constitution, G. Juris, in this court of record, do make the following claims. Now the generic reads something closer to one of the people of the several states as seen in the Indiana Constitution. So there's nothing for you to change there. You don't have to change the article provision because that is for everybody. And then all you have to do is put in your information, your county, your state, your name, the date, and then facilitate it with a public notary, and it's all set up to be a notary as juris certificate. You are holding court. Anybody's going to dispute this, they have to bring a claim against you and a remedy in a court of law, not a corporate fiction, district court, circuit court, federal court, where you have bar agents telling you that they have a license to practice law when they don't, when they're enslaving you with statutes, acts, codes, rules, regulations, ordinances that do not apply to you. Because no bylaw can stand if it is repugnant to any constitutionally protected right. So this is how powerful this notice of liability is. Because you come into court and now you're going to make claims. This notice of liability in common law. I declare and adamantly affirm the following. You may wish to provide care. In the event of a stop, you now have 2 minutes to make your decision. I will not be detained willingly. After the 2-minute time period expires, your insistence or demand of my detention and or any other requirement of me is under duress and protest to and of trespass of my rights. A trespass upon my rights by you or by you and cohort will bind to incurring penalties upon one and all, individually, personally, professionally, and is equally and additionally binding upon a department, division, agency, association, or organization bearing responsibility for the individual's or personnel's duty, conduct, and or actions. Very simple. First trespass, minimum fee and charge, $100,000 and charge of treason. Second trespass, minimum fee and charge, $200,000 and charge of treason. Third trespass, minimum fee and charge, $1 million and charge of treason. Constitutionally, I'm a free man. Constitutionally, I am a free man by nature. I am not property. I am not in contract with the state or agency, department, or division within the state. No entity nor man has title over or ownership of a free man. Administering a free man is repugnant to his freedom, liberty, happiness, privacy, security, and life. I have not been declared incompetent. You have been noticed by one of the people. Please take notice I retain all rights to remedy and surrender none. May God bless your day. Amen. All right, and then you facilitate it with the verification and a public notary. Now you own your authority. You are outside the jurisdiction of those corporate proceedings that they call courts. They're banks, they're morgues, they're slave institutions. Now, I got involved with the People's Bureau of Investigation. The People's Bureau of Investigation got involved with the Environmental Court. They were serving writs execution to judges, sheriffs, police, legislators, and the instructions of the court was to send it registered mail. That's expensive. Somebody came into the chat one day, told us about 2-cent prepaid mail, prepaid first-class mail. I started researching it. You can find videos going back 10 years, people talking about their prepaid first-class mail, how they do it. They'll all tell you, this is how I do it. Sometimes it usually works. Sometimes it doesn't. Just do it from another location. I said, well, that's no good. Not if you're serving writs execution to these high-profile, powerful people. So I went to the Kalkaska Village Post Office. And I facilitated prepaid first-class mail for 2 cents. Here's the original card, not the copy. Here's the original 3806, not the copy. Here's the register receipt, not the copy. I put that all on the back side of my American's Notice of Liability. I have a picture of the mailer after it was received in Kingsland, Texas. Received in Kingsland, Texas, with a 2-cent stamp in the bottom right-hand corner. That was it. Prepaid first-class mail. No postage necessary if mailed in the United States is what it said. There's another one here. You can see their sticker right here, $0, 0 cents. Over here, this is important. Foreign Office of Origin. I was so thrilled. We proved prepaid first-class mail. We could send registered mail for 2 cents plus the cost of the paper. About 3 days later, I realized, son of a gun, Ethan, you just got recognized as a foreign national to this corporate United States. The United States is a corporation. People want their sovereignty. They want to be free. They want to be outside the jurisdiction of this slave monopoly they've done, as I described, with your all caps name, your birth certificate, your driver's license, your passport, everything, your utility bills. That all caps name is not you. That is a dead fiction. These administrative courts can only talk to the dead. That's why they can't hear you. You need to find out what language you're speaking when you're there. Are you speaking Black's Law? Or are you speaking Webster's? Are you talking public education? So I realized I became foreign national, recognized as foreign national to the United States, which is the jurisdiction they use in all of those courts. Because they ask you, are you a United States citizen? Say no, because you're not. I got recognized in the village of Kalkaska, the county of Kalkaska, the state of Michigan, the federal jurisdiction of the United States Postal Service, the federal jurisdiction of the United States Post Office, the universal jurisdiction of the Universal Postal Union, the global jurisdiction of the Global Postal Union, all when they facilitated my prepaid first class mail. Now it's on the back side of my notice of liability. And on top of that, I've taken the Russell Gould teachings in quantum grammar and contracting. I have $1 stamp on here that's backed by gold. I have my quantum autograph, and I sealed it with my thumbprint. I own this contract. This is the highest authority. This is the highest court of law. You have the people here in Kalkaska, every public servant should have a copy of my notice of liability. But they keep trespassing and trespassing and trespassing. I keep getting called for jury duty. Why do they want me in there for jury duty? Probably so they can come up with some trumped up charge, slap cuffs on me, kidnap me, throw me in a rape cage, and make me disappear is what I think. Because they know they don't want me in their courts. Why? Because I know that the judge gives advice from the bench. I know that the prosecuting attorney lies. I know that my defense attorney was there my day of court. The courtroom is packed. I can't get in there. I have to be outside the courtroom. All these proceedings, one after another after another. Eventually, my defense attorney comes walking out with the man he was representing. Apparently, as I understand it, that man was given immunity to testify against me. My defense attorney, who I paid to represent me because I was a pure slave, I had not woken up to the fact of all this corruption and the games that they play, walks out of that courtroom with the man given immunity to testify against me, walks up to me and says, "Ethan, you don't need me. Don't give up any of your rights," and walks away. I'm the last person called into that courtroom. The only one in there with me is my wife, the bailiffs from the sheriff's department, the judge, the prosecuting attorney. Do they stop proceedings? Do they say, well, where's your attorney? Where's your representation? Well, we can't continue. No. They just carry on. They're trying to get me to plead to felonies. I'm refusing. That prosecutor, Kalkaska County prosecutor at the time, Mike Perot, calls me out of the courtroom, out into that lobby, where we have a private conversation where he threatens me. This is the kangaroo court crap that goes on here. It's an injustice system, not a justice system.
That's for sure.
And something needs to be done about it, folks. And guys like Matt out there, whatever they want to call themselves, whether they're auditors, whether they're digital soldiers, whether they're committees of safety, constitutional accountability, whatever, it doesn't matter. They deserve a lot of credit for what they do and showing these tyrants how treasonous that they act. They don't want to be held accountable for anything. But they torture you, they poison you. Pharma, you might as well call it poison, because that's what it is. And doctor, that's a poison control expert. And they don't care about healing, they don't care about health, they just care about treatment. And why do you think dentistry is separated from medical? 15 million root canals, every one of them a toxic tooth, causing heart attacks, cancer, inflammation.
And doctors get all those bonuses from these pharmacy companies.
Right.
To push their products.
Right.
It's documented.
It is. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
So you see, folks, we got such a terrible situation. Your water is toxic. Your municipal water especially, but even the majority of your well waters are toxic. This is what we learned from the environmental court. And with the electrolyzer and the total dissolved solids reader, you can find all these toxins in your water. Your food is poison. Your medicine is poison. Your education is poison. Everything you know is a lie. Everything I know, my life, is virtually a lie. Virtually everything. So the amount of trespass that goes on is ridiculous. So I told you, you have the right to the courts. I have held court. This pile of paperwork right here, this top one is to Sheriff Darleaf in Berry County. I went to Sheriff Darleaf after I went to Camp Grayling, where I put 3 garrison commanders in my court. And I gave them the evidence of my court cases with the Kalkaska County Sheriff, Undersheriff, Jail Sergeant, the head of the United States Patent and Trademark Office, the head of the DEA, and many others. And I went there as the prosecutor with an order for arrest and detention. This is copy. I'm going to read it to you. Sheriff Department, Kalkaska County, 605 North Birch Street, Kalkaska, Michigan, 49646. Constitutional common law, we the people of Michigan order. Comes now affant, one of the people, as seen in Michigan Bill of Rights, Article 1, Section 1, Michigan Constitution, G. Juris in this court of record do make the following claims. Where am I? I'm in court. What court? The High Court. The court of law. I drop in the constitutional provision here. Political power. All political power is inherent in the people. Government is instituted for their equal benefit, security, and protection. Then, orders for arrest, warrants, treason, maladministration, misadministration, fraud, conspiracy. 5 of the accused have been properly served United States Postal Service certified mail, and they have defaulted. We the people are submitting the court record, complaints, proof of service, and copies of the documented evidence of default. I hereby order Pat Whiteford, Kalkaska County Sheriff, to effect the immediate arrest of the accused for a speedy trial. We have several that we have held court with, and by the terms, by acquiescence, they plead guilty to treason in an open court of record, a court of law, a high court, because they don't know how to act when you put them in a court. I put Gretchen Whitmer, she's a bar attorney. She's a governor. I put her in a court of law, probably the first time she's ever been in a court of law in her life. She pleads guilty to treason. During lockdown, it's worth noting, Gretchen Whitmer would not allow you to go down the seed aisle when you're in the store and it's springtime and you want to plant a garden. But cannabis business is essential. Cannabis business is essential, but not if you're Ethan, not if you got a medical breakthrough that science had given up on, put it in writing in the United States National Library of Medicine. No, So what do we got here? Accused, Gretchen Whitmer, served in default. Rob Buchanan, testimony and evidence submitted. I think he's the head of the Michigan Bar Association. Drew Hirschfeld, Christopher Evans, both of them served in default. Head of the DEA and head of the USPTO. Miller, Michael, we talked about him, examiner for the PTO. Rick Snyder. Rick Snyder didn't have time for this. Rick Snyder saw this. He didn't have time for it. He was too busy with the Flint water crisis. Gary Peters, State Representative Gary Peters, he won't do nothing about it. Jack Bergman, another state representative, won't do nothing about it. Susan Corbin, Connor Clemens, examiner with the Michigan Unemployment. Lindsey Wilson, an administrative judge. Scott Isles, that parasitic bar attorney, wasn't my defense attorney at all. Claimed to be a defense attorney, but he was a prosecuting attorney. Then we got these other two bar parasites. When this patent, I said we'd come back to this. Sometime after that direct attack from the examiner from the United States Patent and Trademark Office, I got a final office action denied. This patent that I'm holding in my hand that is issued, it is real. At that time, back then, final office action from the patent office denied. I called my patent attorney and told him that under NDA, non-disclosure agreement, I shared the intellectual property with another man who was a cannabis man, who was a scientist, who was a genius, and a patent attorney. And this man reported back to me. He said, Ethan, it looks like you're on your way to issue, meaning your patent's going to issue. And in your original filing, you have many more patents to pursue. So I said to Mr. Goodlow, that's my patent attorney's name, R. Reams Goodlow. I think we should call him Mr. Badlow. I explained this to him, and I said, I don't feel like I'm on a level playing field. He says, you're not. Sometimes a phone call can take care of situations like this. I think not situations like this, really? Situations like this? Highly irregular and very unusual, but they happen. Not just to you. So, very expensive phone call. My patent issued. Now I need money. I need money for the issue fee. A couple of grand. I need money for a continuation application because I got to keep at least one of these other patents alive or I lose them all. And I need $6,000 to file a PCT. I had money for the issue fee. I had money for the continuation. I had money for my patent attorney. I did not have $6,000 for the PCT. So I contacted an attorney downstate by the name of Matthew McManus and his partner in crime, Christian Weisenberg. Testimony and evidence submitted. I'm calling cannabis attorneys. These guys respond. I'm down there meeting with them. I get them in touch with my patent attorney. This guy tells me, he says, Ethan, I don't want you talking with investors. I just need to know how much. Christian Weisenberg had signed my NDA and I shared my intellectual property with him. He shared it with McManus without NDA from me or him. And then they conspired with my patent attorney to make sure that I did not get the PCT filing. And they got rights to half of my intellectual property. So these two parasites, McManus and Weisenberg, have a contract which is obviously void and fraud, has no standing. They don't have nothing. But what they facilitated was they get 50% of my intellectual property and they're going to be my partners going forward, and we're going to pursue the PCT and all these foreign filings. There are 6 patents in this original application. There's over 150 countries that participate in the PCT. That's over 900 patents I'm denied. The single item that I would have created, the mouth rinse, for removing calcified plaque, preventing calcified plaque, rejuvenating lost gum tissue, preventing gum tissue loss, putting a protective sealing on the teeth that's impermeable to acidics that come from bacteria excretion, that come from apple cider vinegar, grapefruit juice, tomato juice, etc. A protective coating that's impermeable to those acidics. The 2000 Surgeon General's report stated you cannot be healthy without good oral health. They know this. Plaque is caused by carbohydrates, saliva, and bacteria. When you have a dead tooth, in the root of that tooth, you have 2 to 6 miles of tubal. The bigger the tooth, the more miles of tubal. Bacteria can fit 5 side by side in that tubal for 2 to 6 miles. Not only bacteria, but fungus. Where the immune system is not functioning, because when that nerve is alive, the flow from that tubal is like this, it's out to where your body can deal with any infections. But when that nerve is dead, those tubals are just they're just a armored, reinforced breeding ground for this bacteria, which morphs into deadly, toxic bacteria. And Dr. Thomas Levy explains in that video you can watch on the homepage of oralhealthwithcannabis.com, he explains that when it's in a molar, the immense pressure from chewing is more effective at delivering those toxins into your lymphatic system than a syringe. Think about that. Every time you chew down on a dead tooth, a molar, it's more effective than a syringe at delivering those toxins directly into your lymphatic system. And you wonder why you're sick. You wonder why you're in pain. It had me on my deathbed, literally on my deathbed. I discovered gum tissue rejuvenation and calcified plaque removal, gum tissue rejuvenation throughout my entire mouth, with the exception of this area over here, which looked really bad. So I started asking a lot of questions. I had a dead tooth. I had a dead tooth and it was killing me. I had other dead teeth too, but this one was the worst. All of them toxic. So about 30 years prior, I started developing conditions for my toxic teeth. One of them was migraine headaches. Debilitating migraine headaches. I'm a businessman. I'm a family man. My family's dependent on me to take care of them. My employees are depending upon me to run the business. My customers are depending on me to get the job done. And once a week, 50 to 60 times a year, I am down with an absolutely debilitating migraine. And the next day I'm suffering a migraine hangover. That was one of the first things that developed. I have over 30 chronic conditions from my toxic teeth that are either completely gone or almost gone. I'm over 3 years in my healing process. I was down to 130 pounds. I was 5'10" and a half. I was 220 pounds. I was in shape. Down to 130. I didn't have the strength in my hands to turn the doorknob. I'm sweating 24 hours a day, sleeping 18 hours a day, and in my mind, I'm checking out. I'm saying goodbye. But the good Lord lifted me up off my deathbed. I got that amazing oral health, and I got identified to a major problem. Now I'm searching for a dentist to pull that tooth. And do you think that was easy? No. Oh, there's nothing wrong with it. Oh, I got a picture of that tooth. It's like disgusting. And the teeth on either side of it looked like the moon. They were just full of these little pits and craters. That was because of all these acidics coming out of that tooth. One time in my life, I spit out the window driving. It landed on the rear quarter of the car. The next day, the paint was gone. Don't tell me I didn't have acidic, right? Oh, my goodness. So this is what you're dealing with, folks. You got these constitutional sheriffs that are not constitutional. You got the injustice system. You got the slave system. They tell you, oh, China, you got to worry about your patents with China. You got to worry about your patents with the United States Patent and Trademark Office examiner and your American United States patent attorney. Give me a break, folks. So, I don't want to belabor this too long. Right now is, I believe today is the 29th? 29th. If my land taxes are not paid here, it goes foreclosure proceedings, move on. I've been struggling for years on about $200 a month in donations, and the fact is most of that came from my enemies, because I'm literally one of the most feared men on this planet. And it's not because you fear me, it's you fear being targeted by the government, like that Canadian Jamaican outfit. Did I talk about them, Matt? In 2017, I wrote that open letter. No, prior to that, I wrote a research proposal. And I put this research proposal out all over the world. In December 2017, I got a response from a Canadian outfit that was in the cannabis business. They were setting up in Jamaica. They had $16 million in private investment. They commit to me, and months later, the United States government froze their bank accounts. He called me in December 2017 and said, Ethan, I'm here on the property working on your housing. It'll be ready the first week of April. No. The government came in and seized their bank accounts. I think they had $16 million in private investors. It took almost a year for them to get over that and for me to get over to Jamaica. January 2019. And from that point forward, they had nothing but trouble with the Jamaican Licensing Authority. All the things that had been previously approved and construction done, now, oh no, that's not going to work. Oh, you got to change this, you got to change that. Change. Why? Because I was there. Nobody knew that at the time. The Canadians didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that these were all direct attacks until I wrote that open letter. And I discovered the phone transcripts from the patent attorney's office and the email, which clearly shows the examiner. And so, here just recently, January, I received mail from the United States Patent and Trademark Office on my pending application that was mailed in September with a shortened statutory response period time of 2 months. I receive it well after the statutory time period, where they have restricted my claims and they want to make me jump through all these hoops when there was pre-thought put into this application, because in here is two processing processes and 3 efficacies, so 6 patents. So I said I want the other process in the next patent, and it was determined no, we want it to issue, so we're going to go with the same process. So we have claims 1 through 31. Claims 2 through 31 read identical to claims 2 through 31 in here, and the only difference in claim 1 in the pending application would be where it says this is 1. a mouthwash composition comprising A carrier, B, an effective calcified plaque removal amount. So in claim 1, that would be all worded exactly the same. There's more wording here. There's 3 paragraphs. The wording would all stay the same, except you would change calcified plaque removal to gum tissue rejuvenation. We know that science has given up on this, but the Patent Office is restricting the process claims and the efficacy claims and separating them into 2 when they've already approved 16 through 32 for the process for calcified plaque removal, but somehow they're not going to allow them without all this jumping through hoops. So when I put the United States Patent and Trademark Office director in my court, I also put in a claim for $3.8 trillion. My direct loss on a single item is $70 trillion. That's very easily to calculate. This is the world population, and then add in mammals. I mean, come on. What about the business I would have built around that? What about all the other cannabis products? I would have been buying metric tons from every country around the world. I would have the largest company in the world. I would be healing people. A hemp shirt, this is cotton, a hemp shirt will last you 50 years and get more comfortable the more you wear it. The same with hemp pants. The building products that you can get from hemp, the insulation. Henry Ford made a hemp auto body, lighter than fiberglass, stronger than steel, but what do you get? You get metal rusting. You got to throw your car away. We're going to have all these beautiful auto bodies from all these years in perfect shape. So, folks, I got to thank Matt for...
Don't forget about the hemp bricks.
Hemp bricks.
Yeah, they make bricks out of hemp, and it insulates but it lets moisture through.
All the building products from hemp are incredible. Apparently the Navy stopped using hemp ropes, went to nylon ropes. They go through 5 times the rope they did when they used hemp. When our forefathers came over here, they were marijuana smoking, whiskey drinking, hard men that shot crooked politicians. They tarred and feathered public servants that went against them. They stood their ground. They knew who they were. And I have said time and time again, because 2020, 21, 22 was the year of paperwork circus. Oh my goodness, you got Bonds for the Win. Oh, you got David Straight. You got Yusuf trying to teach you the administrative process. You got Russell J. Gould. He goes on and on and on. The big paperwork shuffle. The truckers driving to Washington, D.C., a foreign land, 10 square miles where the enemy has been vacated. What are you going to do? You should have surrounded your sheriff's department. You should have surrounded the courts. You should own your authority and hold these parasites accountable. And it's time for people to stand together. I'd like to see a group get together for right to travel, right to carry. Okay, don't tell me about, a constitutional carry state. It's the common law across the common land. You cannot have a right in this state I don't have in that state. So what's all the talk about constitutional carry states? Because you're idiots. Why are you idiot? Because you've been dumbed down. You've been put through public school. You have been MK Ultra'd. You have been brainwashed. Indoctrinated, absolutely, and fear-based. Oh, do I have a crack in my windshield? Oh, do my wipers work? Oh, does my license plate light work? My tail light work? My blinker? Is my muffler too loud? Did I forget am I speeding? Did I swerve? Who cares? Seriously, did you cause any harm? No, but you're a slave and you're living in fear. And they hire these policy enforcers for their ignorance. And because they're order followers. And because they do things without questioning, is it right or wrong? And this is what Matt exposes with his channel, The Constitutional Crusader, and all these other great auditors. Some of them don't want to be called auditors. They want to be called other things. Digital warriors, truthers, it doesn't matter. But you should support them all, and you should thank them all, and you should do the same. Take a camera with you everywhere you go. Hold these people to account. Do not let them get away with this. And if you want to support me, in the description of my YouTube videos, you can find a PayPal and a Cash App. On my website, on the homepage, you can also find the PayPal and the Cash App. On the homepage of the website, if you're looking at it on your phone, don't look at it like this. Turn your phone like this, because it distorts the pictures. When you're looking at it on the computer, you're all set.
Let them know about all the documents they can get off your website.
Thank you, Matt. And also on the homepage, scroll down to near the bottom, and I show you cannabis formulation as a sunscreen. Now, when I was young, we'd go out. We never put sunscreen on. Today, everybody's rubbing this toxic shit on because they're afraid of the sun. They got you so whacked up here, people. I'm telling you. But cannabis formulations, non-euphoric, and I would use it as a personal care product from head to toe. When I was in Jamaica, it was easy. You take isopropyl alcohol. You take your cannabis, and you put it in something like this, and you just squeeze it like this. And when your hand starts feeling sticky on your hand, you know you're getting it. But if you put it on and it feels sticky, well, maybe you don't want it. You don't need it to be sticky, is what I'm telling you. So you just add more alcohol until it's not. Until you get something that you can deal with. And that's how easy it is. It's antifungal, it's antibacterial. Alcohol, isopropyl alcohol is very antiseptic. It's not going to hurt you. You put those essential oils in, it's healing, it's regenerative, rejuvenative, and it protects you. And a burn, you get a first-degree burn, a second-degree burn, you get almost instant pain relief. Now, you don't want to use something like this to put on a burn. This is thick. You want to use something like this or spray. Instant or near instant pain relief. A very good first degree burn that will sting for days. I rub on a little bit of that. 10 minutes later, in most cases, I'm not feeling the pain. Sometime, 15, 20% of the time, I'm still feeling pain. I go back over, I put another coating on. 10 minutes later, pain's gone. I didn't suffer with it for days. So, we have euphoric formulations, non-euphoric formulations, daytime formulations that activate your mind, give you concentration, nighttime formulations that help you sleep, non-euphoric formulations. But regardless, this is healthy. And we got to stop putting people in prison. We got to stop putting people in jail. We got to end all of this. So, also in the description of my videos, you can find links to my Telegram channel if you want to come over. The mother channel is videos strictly talking cannabis, where I freely share. I share my trade secrets, my intellectual property, my formulation processes, and so it's just a couple handfuls of videos there. But then below there, you can comment in the video. Well, when you comment, that comment goes over to the chat channel where it shows up over there. So you can join the chat channel too, where, you see, I never intended to do any of this stuff. And again, I was a pure slave. I was a victim. I didn't know lawful from legal. Now I know lawful and legal. I know treason and tyranny, and I know freedom and liberty. So I'm fighting to bring it for you. I'm trying to show you how I stand, how I own my authority, what I've done. I'm not telling you to do what I've done. And everybody, you got to stay safe. Don't fall on the sword. Do not get yourself in torture cuffs, kidnapped, and thrown in a rape cage. Don't do it. Be smart with what you do. But be brave and own your authority and start holding these people to account. We're going to take back our courts. So, guys, is there anything else you think I should add in here?
Did you tell them about where to find documents?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, because you said that a minute ago. On the website, oralhealthwithcannabis.com, on the services page, there's a documents section. And there is 2 PDF files, Gretchen Camp Grayling. File 1, file 2. This was too big to get through the scanning machine all in one file. That is the court cases that I had held that I sent with the court case to the 3 garrison commanders at Camp Grayling. And when I put that court case together for Camp Grayling, in a court of record, a high court, a court of law, I took the position of the executive emergency manager for Michigan. And I ordered 3 garrison commanders for readiness and to report for duty. Crickets. Well, I understand why. If you listen to Derek Johnson, he's going to explain to you laws and orders. And you're going to learn that you're under martial law, that you're in continuity of government, you're in devolution. And so you're in continuity of government. I still think that the military could have responded to me. And interestingly, Stephen Greer, if you don't know Stephen Greer, you could check him out. He's a very interesting guy. Put out a recent video the other day, a 2-minute video about how the military whistleblower, the new military whistleblower program is going to change everything. But he doesn't tell you anything about the new military whistleblower program. So I think maybe we're going to learn about that when the publicized tribunals, which are resuming in Gitmo again in June and July, according to either the New York Times or the New York Post, whoever was the one who put that story out, and Derek Johnson, because he verified that he has been through clearance, I think through the DOD, for his pass to Gitmo, and he's choosing whether he wants to go in June or July. So check out Derek Johnson. He shows you laws and orders that proves that we are under martial law, have been, that there is an alliance, a global operation that's happening for your freedom. So it's an information war, which is full of misinformation and disinformation. Pay attention. Use your critical thinking and figure it out. So, Matt, again, thank you, Mr. Constitutional Crusader. I shake your hand. Everybody, bless you. Thank you. I love you. I'm fighting for you. And I hope to be back again. Bye for now.